Hey guys, it's Helen Vandenberg here from GetClientsFast.net, and today I wanted to talk about that phenomena of getting in your own way. So whenever people come to work with me, they usually want to create big goals for themselves, for their clients, for their families and their future. They're looking to often double or triple or even quadruple the fees that they're charging to their clients. They're looking to exponentially grow their business, and they're looking to create that more work-life balance where they can attract clients and they can really know that their business is in motion and getting things, things are happening in a systematic way and that it is all working out. So that all sounds lovely. It's a lovely vision to have, this business that has automated leads coming in, that you have amazing clients to work with, and that you're visible and people see you everywhere. So the challenge is to get to there that you're going to have to do some things differently to what you're doing now. So if you currently have a website that does not convert, that is not getting you leads, if you're currently getting less than 4 to 5 strategy sessions every single week, then there are things in your system that you are going to have to change. If you are the best kept secret and people know you, hey Tony, great to see you there. If you're the best kept secret and people don't know who you are, only your friends and the clients you do have, they think you're amazing, but other people out there just don't seem to know who you are. Hey Lisa, great to see you here. So those things could mean that you need to change something. If what you've got now is not what you want, then you definitely need to change something. So often when people come to work with us in the Client Attraction Mastermind, we'll be looking at how they show up for calls, how do they attract clients, how visible are they? And that's one of the big things, is that we need to make sure that you are, there's a book called You Everywhere Now, and that's the sort of thing you want to be. You want people to go like, oh my goodness, you're everywhere. People often say that about me. Hey Helen, great to see you. Is that, oh my goodness, you're everywhere. Now the truth is, I'm not everywhere. It's that if you've landed on my website or registered for a webinar, then we will retarget you so that I will keep showing up in your news feed until you take a next action. So there are some great tricks you can learn to easily implement and make sure that you are seen as that expert in your field and you can reach those clients you so desperately want to have. But here's the thing, all of that is going to take changes in your behavior. Now, the truth is, most of us don't like change. We don't like change unless we are the instigators of it. And even then, our body and our mind is kind of really set up to keep things in the status quo, to keep things how they are. So I wanted to talk about where sometimes people might get in their own way. If you've ever done this, you've thought, right, I'm going to do a big launch, or I'm going to get out there and do videos, or I'm going to write this blog post, and you set it and you plan it in your diary, and you just don't get around to doing it. There's always something more important that seems to grab your attention. And then when you try it, perhaps you try it a couple of times and then you don't succeed, or in your head you say you don't succeed. And then what happens? You tend to give up. You go, that didn't work for me. So I'm going to talk about some of the ways that you can get around that, because it's not about finding the magical, mystical one system that works for everyone and that you just need to plug in and go. This is about finding and creating a robust client attraction system, working in, and then being able to bounce back when things don't go right, because they won't all the time, when you're feeling less confident than you would normally, when you're stepping outside of your comfort zone. It's about your ability to bounce back when those things happen. That is the difference about people who make it and the people who just stay in this loop of learning but never earning. They just keep like, oh, I'll try something. Oh, it didn't really work. Oh, I didn't really get around to doing it today. What are some of the things you can do to really break through that? So I'm going to talk today about your explanatory style. Now, I am mad about the occupational psychologist Martin Seligman. He has a book called Learned Optimism, which I read years ago, and I still refer to it today. So this is the thing. Let's say that you're trying to try and do your first Facebook Live, or you're going to try and do some video on outreach, and you're a little nervous about it, and the first one perhaps doesn't go quite as well as you'd hoped. You only get 2 or 3 people on it. You get a couple of good comments, you get a couple of negative comments, but you don't feel that resounding success. Now, the thing is, success is very much an internal judgment. So you decide whether something is a success or not. And according to Martin Seligman, he'll say that people who perform better, achieve their goals more consistently, also have a whole other host of benefits like having generally better health, achieving more of their life goals. They tend to have or have learned an optimistic thinking style. So this is where you see things positively. And this isn't just about being Pollyanna and saying everything's great, it'll be cool. This is about kind of the way you interpret events. So, and the great news is that if you think about the title of his book, Learned Optimism, you can learn this. So even if you do find yourself naturally doubting yourself, being judgmental about what you have done, then you can definitely learn the techniques to turn that around. So I want to talk today about your explanatory style. So this is how you explain events to yourself. So let's say we go back to, you've just done a Facebook Live, you've had 4 people on it, you weren't quite sure, you forgot your words, you didn't say exactly what you planned to, and somebody made a little bit of a comment about you that you didn't like. So with Seligman's model, he says you can interpret events based on 3 things: their permanence, their pervasiveness, and how personal they are to you. So if I were pessimistic, I would say, rather than going, oh, that particular Facebook Live or that video event didn't go that well, I would start making that something that is very permanent, like I am no good at video, or I am no good at Facebook Lives. You would interpret it as you start telling yourself, is like, I can't do this, I hate it, okay? You think the more you say, I hate doing this, I can't, how is that going to gear you up to actually doing it? So you're starting to think that your failure is permanent. You then think it's pervasive. So not only do you tend to think of it being that isolated instant or that event, so perhaps doing videos, you'll then say, you know, I'm no good at marketing. So we tend to say, yeah, I'm just not that kind of person. I hate marketing. I'm no good at this getting out there stuff. So we then label that one perceived failure as something that is pervasive and known about you. And then you make it personal. It's like, well, it's other people can do it, but I just can't. You know, other people are able to do this, but I don't have the personality for it, or because of this, or this in my background, this is why. So these are the thoughts of a typically pessimistically minded person. Now you could take the same event, and let's say that it still didn't go as well as you'd hoped, but if we had an optimistic explanatory style, then you would say, you would, rather than saying it's permanent, you would go, oh, okay, well, that was one video I did, I can do more, so let me try some more. So you would be looking at, like, you take it in isolation, let's look at the data. Actually, on that one video, I had this many comments, and I had this many people on, and this was the outcome. But that is just one data point. So be careful when you start saying things like, oh, my people don't respond to that, or my audience wouldn't like being sold to in that way, or yes, everyone in this industry does it this way. So be aware of your mind talk around that. So we make it not permanent, we make it, let's look at it very logically. There is one data point, one event, and we can isolate that from the next time you do it. And then pervasive. So rather than saying, you know, oh, I'm no good at video, I'm no good at marketing, you just say, I'm learning marketing. So change that mental talk and make it to that one instant, and be really clear that it's just, I'm aware that in that instant, these things went well, these things went less so well, and it is only that incident. Okay, and then personal. Hey Yvonne, great to see you here. We're just talking about learned optimism as an explanatory style for when things don't go so well. How do you bounce back? So, and then making it personal. So rather than saying, so what tends to happen is when something good happens, an optimist will say, I had something to do that. When something bad happens, they will look at, there may have been other concerns, other factors as well. So you want to have a personal view of, you know, I did a good job. I managed to get in front of the camera. I did it. That would be a personal view. It's like, yes, I personally was responsible for that. And if other people choose to make comments that don't work so well, then that's fine too. That's absolutely fine too. So think about, are you viewing things as personal? Hey, Carol, great to see you. Are you viewing things as permanent, pervasive, and personal? And how are you going to twist those in your mind so as it serves you better? And one of the ways I think about this is, if you are telling stories about yourself around how you can't do something or how you hate doing something, I want you to take yourself out of that and think about, okay, if my friend or a child or a teenager I cared for was looking for that, saying that, what would I say to them? What would be, how would I coach them? So we're often much harsher critics to ourselves than we ever would be to anyone else. So I've got some tips for you on how do you start moving towards a more optimistic mindset. So as when you go through those growth stages and those stretch cycles, you absolutely can bounce back and carry on. So number one, focus on the solutions, not the problems. So if, let's say that you did a video and your lighting was bad and it just didn't work out, that you were all in shadow and people couldn't see you, then for me to focus on the solution would be, one, let's find out technically what's going wrong there. Is there another camera, phone, laptop I could do my videos from? Two, how can I make this possible? Hey Margot, how you doing? How can I make this positive? Well, you recorded the MP4, the video, so you can definitely strip out the audio. So even if the lighting is bad, you can still use that. So focus on solutions, not on problems. Number two is find any improvement to the current situation. So if you're feeling, oh gosh, I just can't do this, I'm no good at video, I'm no good at copywriting, you want to do one small thing to make an improvement to it. So maybe that is just, if you have to copyright a whole page, it's just starting with the first 2 lines and getting support on fixing that. So find any improvement to the current situation rather than keeping in this cycle of, I can't do it, I'm a failure, I hate doing this, okay? Number 4 is minimize obstacles. So set yourself up for success. So whether it's about having a positive environment, so it's quiet and you have encouragement, whether it's about planning and preparing, you want to think about, if something went wrong, like as often happens with mine, the phone might ring in the background. It's like that could throw you for a moment, but it's like, okay, well, next time I'll make sure I unplug the phone. Okay, so it's about, rather than being so mortified and overwhelmed that something didn't go right, it's like, great, that's perfect lesson. Number 5 is conjure up your inner coach. So again, like I was saying, if you had a friend or a child, a teenager, perhaps that you were coaching or supporting, and they came to you with this issue, what would you say to them? You would be much more positive and proactive than we tend to be to ourselves. Number 6, think about it. So let's say if you are getting in your own way in terms of doing something, and it is often that stuff that exposes you, like putting yourself forward for an award or a talk or getting on video or writing copy, I want you to see it as like, brushing your teeth. It's something we do every day. And it's, it's probably not the most exciting or, thing of our day. And if we didn't have to do it, most kids wouldn't do it unless they were told. But it's a habit we've ingrained. So if you can make your task, your big marketing task that you want to move forward on, like brushing your teeth, it's just a habit. You just do it. You don't need to love it. You just need to do it. And it will get you forward. Then it's like, okay, so I get that out of the way. I can't make you learn to love it, but I can. If you get it out there, you can start seeing the benefits of doing it as people start connecting with you. And number 7 is create your own ta-da or well done list. So you really want to help you move from a pessimistic to an optimistic mindset. You really need to be bolstering yourself the whole time around, what did you do well? So maybe you set up the camera right. Maybe you did get 3 paragraphs done. Maybe, hey Cherie, nice to see you. Maybe you did manage to get up and eat a healthy breakfast before you started. So I want you to create a well done, or as I call it, a to-do list rather than a to-do list every day. The things that you've done well that have moved you towards your goal, even if they're just small little things. So as a quick recap, Optimism, definitely. We know from the work of Martin Seligman that an optimistic viewpoint definitely helps you with your resilience and helps you bounce back. And it's about your explanatory style. So when something happens and you view it as some kind of failure or something that you're finding hard or difficult, then you want to focus on moving away from feeling that it's permanent, pervasive, and personal to making sure that it's temporary, that it's like, oh, well, that was one time when it didn't work out, or in that time it didn't work out. Let's move on to the next one. So from pervasive to isolated. So it's not, I'm no good at marketing, I'm no good at video. It's in that incident, I want to improve the way I did this thing. And then personal, it's rather than I'm no good at this and I'll never be able to do this. It's like you are a bright, brilliant, amazing human being who's capable of so much. So look at what is it that you can bring that will help you do this even better next time. So those are my thoughts. And like I say, the book is Learned Optimism by Martin Seligman. So if you are interested in psychology, then that's a great read. And particularly for those of us that ever doubt ourselves or find ourselves getting stuck. So guys, I'd love to hear from you. Where do you get stuck? What tasks in marketing or in your business do you get stuck on? And I will jot down some tips and solutions of how you can get out of your own way. Have an amazing day, guys. It's Helen Vandenberg here of GetClientsFast.net. Take care for now. Bye.